Fragster's here with Nick Allen, Riot Games Tournament Director for the LCS Finals here at Staples Center. Nick, how do you feel about that amazing venue, the matchup we are going to see, and all the spectators here?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy that we've come this far. You know, at the beginning of the season, or at least when I first joined Riot, the World Championship was so far out of sight that it's hard to think about like what was going to look like and what we were going to do. But now that we're here, man, it's just crazy to see. We're at Staples Center. It's this pinnacle, this monument of traditional sports in North America, and getting to play and have our event there is like a dream come true. So it's really awesome, man.
Talking about the two teams in the final, are you kind of disappointed that no European or either American team made it?
I just want the best two teams to make it. So if it's a European and a Chinese team, or a Chinese team and a Korean team, which is what it is, I just want the best games possible, and that's what we're going to see. Royal Club looks ridiculously strong. SKT, I think everyone expected them to get this far and potentially even win the tournament. So I just want good games, and it's crazy to see that we've got two very strong teams to this point.
In terms of the spectators, do you think that maybe American teams or European teams would have attracted more people to watch tomorrow?
I mean, it's hard to say. There's a lot of people in China, so since it's a Chinese team and then a Korean team, and the eSports presence from Korea is just astounding. So I think in terms of like population and fan base, I think we have the two of the strongest regions in that regard. So I think while it might suffer a little bit in like North American viewership and European viewership, and maybe even in-person viewership, I think we're going to be getting a ton of viewership from China and Korea, and that'll be very exciting.
In a long distance view, do you think that European and American teams will keep like in touch, or even may get stronger than Korean or Asian teams in general?
I mean, I think this tournament showed us the global parity of the sport. I think NA and EU were expected to get completely dunked on in this tournament, and that wasn't the case. I mean, NA wasn't as strong of a presence as EU with like Fnatic, but I think what this showed was that Korean teams are beatable. MVP Ozone didn't even make it out of groups. It was two European teams. And so while I would have loved to see a North American team or a European team in the finals, I think they did very well for where they're at, and they'll continue to level up and improve. Don't count them out. I think that's the big thing that we learned from this event.
Talking of overall viewership in LCS, was there some region that topped the others, maybe North America, Europe, or either the Asian countries?
In terms of total viewership?
Right.
Well, I can't speak onto the numbers, the specifics at this time, but I will say that, again, China has a lot of people, and a lot of those people like esports, and so we see pretty ridiculous numbers out of that region. So I would say that just based on population size, China has a leg up compared to everybody else.
Talking of League of Legends in Europe and America, is there a difference for you as an organizer? I mean, Alice doing the European one and you're doing the American one by your own, but should LCS be kind of different in both regions? At
this time, I think we're really looking to level up both to an even playing field. I think most people would agree that the European LCS lacked a little bit of what the NA LCS had in terms of production, and next year we're going to be looking to really even them out to see the same level of production in both regions. And in terms of like an administrative or like tournament operations side, I mean they're treated identical. We make the same decisions and same strategies for both of those regions for the most part.
Will Europe and America stay the only regions with the like normal LCS system we know from Europe and North America, or will it be adapted maybe to the Asian regions?
We're always looking to expand, and we take into account a lot of different things. Viewership and fan base and player base and all of these things before we move forward with creating an LCS. And so we're looking at other regions that are starting to really develop well. We're like Brazil and Turkey, and we have a Russian server now, an Oceania server. We'll take all of those things into account, and before we decide, like, do we want to create an LCS here or some sort of pro league? and then if all the attributes align and it makes sense, we'll move forward and we'll try to probably bring something up there. So while we don't have any plans to do it at this time, it's definitely something that we're considering and we'll continue to consider going into the future.
Will Riot keep the relationship or cooperation with ESL, OGN, and the Chinese providers?
Yeah, I mean, we will continue to work with ESL in different capacity. In a bunch of different capacities. We're going to be working with them for IEM and some other events in like Singapore and China and as well as Cologne. So we're going to be continuing to go with them. And likewise in regions like China and Korea, we have partners there. We'll continue to work with them. We really cherish our partners and really don't have any plans to stop working with them on events and leagues and tournaments.
Okay, you former announced like a small glance of the new amateur league in League of Legends. Will the league feature a normal league format like we see it in LCS, or will it be tournament based like it is at the moment?
We're not ready to announce all of the details. What I can say is that it'll be parallel along the LCS. So while the LCS is going on, you'll have this secondary league or series that's going to be going underneath it. And it's going to be directly related to feeding in and out of those leagues. So a lot of the specifics we're still locking down, but right now just know that it's going to be going alongside the LCS and it's going to be awesome.
Do you think that the teams will stay more stable due to having a secondary league, which maybe has some huge amount of prize money as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll stop seeing things like Marn. Team Marn got beat by Velocity and then they just disbanded as a whole. And so they didn't really have anything else to play for. At least that's the way that they saw it. Now we're continuing those storylines down into the challenger level. So teams that get relegated have something to play for and have something going for them like that they didn't necessarily have before. At least it wasn't as consistent. So I think that'll really help keep teams together, but also improve the competition and the ecosystem as a whole at that level, and also the LCS.
Tomorrow there will be the end of Season 3 in total. What is, in your opinion, or what went wrong in your opinion in Season 3? Is there anything you say, oh my god, I do want to change that one?
I don't really think anything went wrong. I think we learned a lot about how a league is run and production value and team management and player relations. All of these things we're taking into account. And at the end of the season, we're all going to sit down, a lot of the rioters, as well as teams and managers and owners. We're going to sit down and have a feedback session with them so we can take their feedback and hopefully incorporate those pain points, those challenges, those obstacles into some of our changes for 2014. So it was definitely a learning experience, and we'll continue to learn and grow and pivot as we need to. But I think as a whole, Season 3 was pretty awesome.
Is there anything you may see at other publishers, for example Blizzard with WCS, something they maybe do better, or you can tell me if they do anything worse as well?
For the most part, we tend to model our league and our decisions and our strategy after traditional sports. So we look at European soccer, European football. We look at American football. We look at NBA, basketball, baseball. All of these things when we're making strategy decisions about our league. So it's very traditional sports focused in terms of necessarily looking at other games.
Okay, the last question: what is the thing making a league for you special? Maybe in one sentence.
What makes league special?
Yeah, right.
That's a really good question. I think it's the holistic approach of Riot and the players and the fans to try to create the best possible game and the best possible ecosystem. I think it's a combination of a bunch of different things, that the game is really fun, that the community is really engaged, and that the competition is really high level. And all of those things for me make League of Legends so awesome.
Okay, that haven't been one sentence, but thank you anyways.
Yeah.